welcome to week 5. This week we are moving into the research unit. So let me call up week 5 in Canvas and walk you through some of the things that we'll be doing this week. First off, there are 2 articles that I referred to in my overview of the research argument essay assignment. And those are from Writing Spaces. The first one is by Purdy called Wikipedia is Good for You. And the second one by McClure is called Googlepedia, Turning Information Behaviors into Research Skills. So these 2 articles I assigned for you to read because I think it's important to understand that Wikipedia is not always bad and Google is not always bad. Those of you who are Gen Z and millennials, you're digital natives and you're really good at finding things on the internet. So these articles are going to help you to refine those internet surfing skills so that you can use that to enhance your research, to turn those behaviors into research skills. Wikipedia, as I said before, is a really good place to get a jump start on your research. You would not cite from Wikipedia itself, but instead go down to the list of references, and that can give you a really good idea of what kinds of research is out there, what kinds of solid scholarly academic articles are there for you to take a look at. So I highly recommend reading these 2 articles from Writing Spaces. I think they'll really help you to get a handle on your research and really start using your innate researching skills to your benefit. So you're watching this video, read those assigned readings, and then I have some crash course videos as well as a couple of other videos that I've done for my other classes that will help you some tips and tricks for citations and getting a handle on argumentative writing. So we'll look at those for a second. Lastly, there is an English 1001 English Composition Research Guide that the library has put out for you. I will actually do a separate video explaining that in greater detail, telling you what I would like you to do when you look at that research guide. So there are 3 things that are due this week. You have a quiz on credible sources. This quiz will actually be graded. You'll get points for it. Don't let that dissuade you. You have multiple opportunities to get the questions right. But I want that to be done by the 22nd, which is Friday. And then you have a journal assignment. This is journal number 4. And this is just asking you to consider your past experiences with organizing and with argumentation. Some of you may be really familiar with argumentative writing and might not have any struggles. Those of you who have been out of school for quite some time may not remember how to write an argumentative essay or do persuasive writing. And I want to know, because then that helps me to help you. That will be due on the 23rd, which is Saturday. Lastly, there is a research argument introduction, outline, and works cited page that I will expect from you by the 24th. This is kind of one of the scaffolded assignments leading to the culminating project of the research argument essay. So it's important that you start taking steps and gathering your thoughts and organizing your thoughts, at least somewhat, before you delve into the actual drafting of your essay. So I will do a separate video for that as well, walking you through the things that I would like to see from you. So those are the 3 things that are due this week. Let me just click through the pages real quick here. Here you'll see a page on argumentative writing, and it has 2 videos from Crash Course. The first one is critical thinking and arguing, and the second one is evaluating arguments. You'll see underneath both videos that I have some notes, just some highlights of things to remember and take away from the video. So I just posted those notes there for you to help jog your memory when you, after you have watched the video and you're like, oh, what did she say about ad hominem again? So there are some notes there. Down at the bottom of the page, you'll see a very brief tutorial from a textbook called The Hub. And this is a writing strategy for the features of effective arguments. So it lists several points that you want to be aware of when you are constructing your argument. So please be sure to read through that. The next page here is just an embedded video from a previous semester. This is MLA citation tips. Particularly, I give some tips on how to copy and paste MLA citations when you're using the library database, the EBSCOhost, or Academic Search Complete, how you can find those citations that are already done for you, and then pointers on little things that you may need to edit when you copy that citation into your works cited list. I also have some formatting tips for Microsoft Word, as far as doing hanging indents and double spacing your text on your pages. Please keep in mind that your works cited page does also need to be double spaced. So it seems like a lot of space, but we're no longer printing things out on paper. So it really doesn't matter if it's double spaced now. I used to single space my citations when I was a student a few years ago because I wanted to save on paper. I was printing everything out and handing it in, but we're a completely online class and we're not doing that, so double space everything. The next page here is yet again another embedded video, and this one is actually on using a citation generator. It's a brief tutorial on how to use Citation Machine. Some of you may already be familiar with that, and if you know how to use it and you know how to edit things within Citation Machine, that is awesome. Just remember that you want to choose MLA and not APA or Chicago or some other format. We are MLA in this class. But those videos are pretty short, under 10 minutes, so they're helpful. The next page here is the English 1001 Research Guide instructions. Read through these instructions. I'll do a little video tutorial as well, telling you what I expect you to do with this research guide, but I'll take you to the next page, which is actually the module that the library created for English 1001 classes at UC. And you'll see there's a video and a transcript below. So if you want to read through the transcript, you can do that just by using the scroll bar. I do suggest clicking on these arrows so that you can watch the video full screen, because the video actually uses some presentation slides and they're harder to read when the screen is smaller. So I recommend expanding your viewer so that it's full screen. So this is actually the complete guide over here in the left-hand sidebar. So if you're curious and you want to navigate from the very beginning, you can do that. You click on these links and you navigate that way. I am starting right in the middle because this is the information that I think is most important. So we will be focusing on 3, 4, and 5. 6, you don't need to look at this last link here. So 3 through 6 has very helpful information. Any page that has a video, please watch your video. You will also see these boxes down below that sometimes have links to other resources. Please click on the links and check them out. Some of them can be very, very helpful. So click on those, you move through those, and then when you're done, you can click on next here. Now, this midterm progress report, I will actually post a video at the top of this page. I don't want to make this overview video very long. Just know that this requires no work from you whatsoever. This is just a way for me to provide a progress report, a grade for you, something tangible, so that you know how you're doing in the class before the last date of withdrawal. If you feel like you're struggling in this class and your grade isn't as good as you think it's going to be, and there's not much time to make things up, maybe you think it would be better for you to withdraw. The withdrawal date is July 22nd, which is Friday. So I will have this done by Wednesday the 20th. The grades should be accessible in the gradebook in Canvas. If for some reason you are not able to see a grade, please let me know. Email me and I will let you know how you're doing in the course. But you should be visible to students. I think I've set it up correctly. As I said, there's nothing that you need to submit. This is just an opportunity for me to look through the various things that you've done in the class up to this part, and to let you know how you're doing. So I'm just basically looking at the discussion boards. If you've participated in the required discussion boards, you're going to do really well. If you've gone over and above and you've done any of the voluntary peer reviews, of course, that's going to boost your rating a little bit. Same with the journals. If you've done everything, you've submitted everything, you've done everything on time, of course, your score is going to be way high. Likewise with the writing assignments. If you put a lot of effort into it and you're just really exceeding expectations, you're going to do really well. And lastly, I'm looking also at growth. So things like you may be struggling, or you may not be as strong as a writer as you would like to be, but you're really trying hard, or maybe you're confused by things and you're not quite sure how to do it. You're reaching out to me and asking questions. That shows me that you have a desire to improve, and you have what's called a growth mindset. So I'm looking at that also. That's only 10 points that I'll be looking at. The bulk of it is actually the major writing assignments that you've done, and then lesser the discussion boards and journals. So hopefully, as I said, I'll explain that in greater depth so everybody knows what is going on. As far as the actual assignments where you need to submit things, we have this credible sources quiz. This is graded, it's 10 points, but you have multiple opportunities. You have 3 attempts to get the answers right. And I think you can actually see the correct answer. Oh, I might actually have to change that. The point is, I want you to know this information, not that you've mastered it, but that it's been presented to you and you've had an opportunity to demonstrate your knowledge. So that's credible sources quiz. There's a link here to the CRAP test, which takes you out to a website. I'll actually open that up for you. A short video on evaluating sources, and then an explanation of what CRAP, C-R-A-A-P, actually stands for. It's an acronym. So make sure that you check out this link and read through the information and watch the brief video. Lastly, we have, no, not lastly, next, we have journal number 4, which is asking you to consider past experiences with organizing an argument. Typically, these journal responses are about a page long, and you can either do a text entry box or a file upload. And if you've never written an academic argument before, that's fine. You can tell me about that. Say you have no idea what you're doing and you hope that you learn something and you hope that you don't completely mess things up. Just be honest and reflect on your experiences. That's all I'm looking for. Then lastly, the assignment for the week is the research argument introduction, outline, and works cited. So I feel it's very important that you demonstrate to me that you are getting a jump on your research. You're not waiting until the last possible minute to write a paper that's about 8 pages long. So I'm looking for you to write a draft introductory paragraph. I know that can be difficult for some people. Some people leave the intro until the very end. And if that's the case, that's fine. But I want to see at least a working thesis statement. You should have a thesis statement in mind. Then I'd like to see some kind of a sketch of how you plan to attack this research assignment. You could use an outline, or you could use a table, or write a narrative to say, okay, here's what I'm thinking I might do in paragraph 1, that kind of thing. Excuse me. Lastly, a works cited page, a rough works cited page. A works cited page, try to have at least 6 to 8 sources. You're going to have 3 that are really easy for you, since if you're working with the same stuff from your synthesis or critique essay, you have 3 of those already done, so you only need to find about 4 or 5 more. I will do a separate video for this as well, speaking a little bit more about the rubric and the requirements for that. So that, I think, is all of week 5. It seems like a lot. You know, it's just a lot of stuff to remind yourself about. If you're not familiar with Citation, then you need to learn a little bit more about Citation. Once again, you know, the pace of this class doesn't really allow me a lot of time to spend on some of these things that most students already should know, or at least have some idea about. So the thing is, if you aren't sure what MLA is, or if it's been 10 or 15 years since you last took a college class, or maybe you didn't do well or whatever, MLA has changed. It changes every probably 5 years or so. So the way you used to cite things in 2010 is no longer the case. It's different, it's changed, the different elements change every once in a while. So make sure to take a look at the resources. And if you have any questions, you know how to get in touch with me. I have no problem answering any questions that any student has and providing clarifications. So just reach out to me and email. Take care, everybody, and I hope you have a fantastic week. Bye-bye.